Hello, everybody. Welcome to MadReaction, Ep.4. It's been a while because tech support has been ill, and we couldn't get anyone to man the keyboards. But yes, how is everyone today? And with me, as always, partner in crime.
I like the way morning, everyone. Morning, man. I like the way you said that, mate. You can't rely on outsourcing to Indian workers. Yeah, if you outsourced it to an Indian worker,
They get ill all the time.
done. Will they get the job done? Will there be any precision craft traditionalism? I don't think
damn
so.
Racist virus, isn't it? That's what it is. This damn
Indeed.
racist virus.
This racist is it's fucking. It hits
The more melanin in your skin, the harder it hits you.
us pure, us BAME POCs, us POCs. Us colored people, mate. We've been hit by the COVID thing, in it, fam. I want my reparations. I want my shekels.
Oh, indeed. Right. So, what have we got for us today, guys? Yes, I don't know if you've been anywhere or you've been in a coma for the last 2 weeks, but someone died in America, and suddenly every tea company in the world has to disavow a Yorkshire lass. And one such guy, who's, an opportunist, has decided he'd make a video and act exactly like you think he would. So here today, we're going to review Sargon of Akkad's take on the Yorkshire Tea Gate. You got anything to say before we start, Ralph, or you sort of fire up the...
Well, I think we should look at this as an opportunity, to just make sure that the whole point of this Yorkshire Tea incident is, from someone from India, I would like to smash racism. It is very important that we smash racism. So we must smash racism. I want to smash racism. I want Lola to have a tea. Right, so I think we should look at this. Yeah, it looks like Sargon's done his Murloc, right? And he's Sargon comes out, he squiggles his little bums off the lock, gets a copy of Lock out and goes, ugh. But the most salient thing I noticed, I only listened to it this morning, is data by omission. He omits Laura's name.
Well,
and
that's
the giveaway.
Very telling, isn't it? Yes,
yeah, that's the one that got me. So, but we can have a listen and have a little laugh at it.
Yeah. Oh, we're right. There we go. Yorkshire Tea. Share my screen. There we are, bro. Right. Oh, sorry.
I'd like Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
After
right.
what's happened in the United States, Black Lives Matter are obviously going mental in Britain. As you can see by the BBC reporting, now over 30 police officers have been injured during the largely peaceful anti-racism protest that they've been doing. Very peaceful, as you can see. And it was peaceful in America too. I mean, according to Wikipedia, at least 21 people have died because of these protests, many of them being cops, many of them being black. God knows how many businesses were burned down. God knows how many of them were black-owned. Probably in the thousands, if not tens of thousands. But who cares? What difference does it make? All that matters...
That is the best Smiths song, by the way. But anyway, I have to have a Smiths reference. What difference does it make when you finish listening to us? Go put on What Difference Does It Make. Carry on. Sorry. Warming up here.
I mean, it's a bit insincere. He's trying to...
Well, he's got a problem, right? He's being squeezed in the middle, Sargon.
Yes.
He's going to be like, do we go anti-Tatiana, Mick woke, Mick whatever? Or do I look to the right and someone says race is real? He doesn't want to look to race as real, but that's going to fuck him up really badly. That's why he's running from off.
Why did they burn down their own businesses, Sargon?
Hey, because they have shared British values that appear just magically in their heads.
Are these Western values? Yes. Yeah. Where is this? I guess they just never read Locke,
No, my lock.
I guess they never understood property rights, did they?
Huh? But I'll tell you what, I've seen at least 15 to 20 videos of all the black gangs getting ready to roll up this weekend, and I can assure you none of them have fucking read Locke, mate. Not a single one of them. It does knows about the Izzard problem, knows anything about Hume. They're not. They just come in to bust you up. So my proposal to Sargon is simple. I want you to come with me, mate. I can guarantee security as a person of color. I want you to stand in Parliament Square with your lock, and I want to tell you all of Black Lives Matter, what you think about them, mate. But anyway, let's have a listen. Sorry.
Oh, yes. Can only imagine the BBC News headlines the next day.
Virtuous. Now, in Britain, this takes the form of tea companies virtue signalling, but it's only one way, you see. 'Cause you might remember back in February when Chancellor of the Exchequer, Conservative, Rishi Sunak, was pictured making a cup of Yorkshire tea. And I defended this at the time, saying, well, how is it in any way Yorkshire tea's fault if the Conservative Party bought the tea and then made it, put a photo out? It's nothing to do with the company. That's just them enjoying this product. It's not a political affiliation. And at the time, Yorkshire Tea had to say this. It's been shocking to see the determination some have had to drag us into a political mud fight. It's been lovely to see others speak up for us. We're so grateful to everyone who's done that in a civil way, and gutted to see it for some used as a reason for nastiness. Really. For anyone about to vent their rage online, even to a company, please remember there's a human on the other end of it and try to be kind. Wow, that's amazing. That's very apolitical. I can see that Yorkshire Tea is just a company that just wants to make its tea be as apolitical as possible, not get into a political mud fight until it comes down to Black Lives Matter.
No. Sargon, you're just either you're very complacent, my dear, or you're really losing it. The magic word is race. That's it. It's not woke, is it? It's not that they're going for BLM. They're going anti-pro-white, isn't it? That's it, isn't it? He can't. Sargon cannot speak about race, can he? He's going to try, but he just can't. It's not about Black Lives Matter, mate. The only reason this story is happening is because #Laura, that you don't mention, had a little tete-a-tete with the tea company, right? That's what happened, right? And what's the problem here is because Laura is white and she doesn't want something that's not pro-white or explicitly anti-white. And Sargon does not have the balls to say it, doesn't it? That's all it is.
It's quite simply
on the SJWs, right?
Quite simply, he fails in this to recognize that Black Lives Matter is an anti-white organization. It's painfully obvious. I mean, like. I said in the comment, the description is the last liberalist to hold out. Like he's literally, everyone else around him seems to be like getting woke on the race.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, a little homage to Mr. Master Ways of the World is in the chat, I believe. I think it was Ways who put out the tweet that said liberals are going to tolerate themselves to death. Right? That's what they're going to do. You're going to sit there and you're going to tolerate yourself. Well, these guys are ballying up. Do you understand that, Sargon? They're going to bally up, and they have no lock, and they're coming. And but he's going to make this all again. This thing. I find this just aesthetically and intellectually really not just grating, but grating, but almost like just ugly.
Cringe.
But it's cringe, but it's even deeper. It's like a certain revulsion, right? Because you can't bring yourself to speak the truth. On one hand, you say, "I am the liberalist. It is all about the truth, the abstractions." But why don't you just call it? The only reason the story has happened is because Laura has called them out on not taking a pro-white position. And he won't say it, really. He won't. But,
and suddenly, if you don't support Black Lives Matter, literally, don't buy our tea. That's the message. From both Yorkshire Tea and PG Tips. Like Yorkshire Tea is the brand of tea I drink as well. But it's crazy. So, replying to a far-right vlogger based in Yorkshire, Yorkshire Tea said, please...
There it is. Huh?
All right, Piers, what are you doing with Sargon?
Yeah, come on. But you can see that he knows, we all know, that he knows he ran away from Mark and Laura, right?
Yes.
Remember when you said he ran away from Mark and Laura? He knows exactly. But he sounds like a fucking roboticon describing something for BBC Southeast variation, some small office with a radio on the side of it going, a far-right vlogger from Yorkshire. Hashtag say their names. Yeah. Say their names.
Who are you
say
talking
their
about?
Names, right?
Why can't you say her name? Yeah. Say her name, Sargon.
Hashtag say her name. You won't, though.
We know the reason why he won't, right? Because because
that other English person in London said, because you're pussy old boy.
No. It goes deeper than that. I mean, the organization, I guess he's embroiled with, wouldn't be happy if one of their leading lights was to, give free publicity to the enemy. Oh, we're on about hearts of coke here.
Yes, of course.
Of course. I think that's the reason why they.
But if you notice
can't
also the visual
mention it.
aesthetics, he's got something that's sort of like graded aesthetically, temporally between Eddie Butler doing the National Front thing with the flag over the table, right? Like the OBNP above the pub. So he's got a bit of the bulldog to appeal to his bulldog demographic. He's got a bit of the liberal. It's not too much. So in case any of the atomist individualists go, hey, you're standing for Britain, that must make you a collectivist. So he's kind of branding himself in between there, yeah?
Identity politics is bad.
Yeah, identity politics.
Please don't buy our tea again, because she said, I'm glad that they haven't been tweeting about Black Lives Matter. We're taking some time to educate ourselves and plan proper action before we post. We stand against racism, hashtag Black Lives Matter. Bravo. So stunning and brave, Yorkshire Tea. I'm glad you finally came out against racism, because I just wasn't sure. I was like, Christ, they don't want the endorsement from Rishi Sunak, probably because they hate brown people and black people, people of color. Why would this be in any way something that you would think appropriate? But I notice, no, you're fine with the political mud fight now. I mean, that's a very contentious political position to take. Say that if you're against Black Lives Matter, you don't stand against racism. As if only Black Lives Matter have a monopoly on being opposed to racism. It's absurd. It's actually insulting Yorkshire.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
God.
it's cringe. I mean, it's intellectually, it's like at the level of a 7-year-old or something, of anyone with any talent. Did you just think you found a logical contradiction? Is that your big gotcha moment? Hey, look, because they're not pro-BLM doesn't mean they're not anti-racist. How about you say you're not anti-racist? You're just actually, you think racism is a wonderful thing and we want to brand it as a virtue. You won't say that. You won't identify race. You just say, look, they're making logical inconsistencies. You're a fucking idiot. Right? I mean, 10 years ago, you can understand if you're 11 or 12-year-old. Yeah, he's almost like, remember, what's a black woman?
Town crier. Guys, everyone's a hypocrite.
But what's a black woman?
Guys.
Do you remember that black woman, mate? The one on MTV. What was her fucking name? They all look the same to me. The one, the one who's always go anti this, white people bad. From 10 years ago, there was some black woman on MTV. And Sargon made his career, kind of like smashing her to pieces. But Sargon has evolved into the same version. Sargon's like the CBBB's introduction to my red pill, right? That's how you take the 11-year-old boy in his room, you give him a bit of Sargon, he goes, hey, this guy's good. And then he moves on. Because you're not, I don't know, nothing he's saying is even vaguely of any interest to me. I don't know, intellectually. Do you think so? I mean, nothing at all.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, no. But maybe 2014 when he was still relevant. Maybe, yeah.
T. Black Lives Matter do not have a monopoly on being against racism.
That just says it all. Like, I want to be against racism too. Yeah. You can't have it, I'm not a fascist. I'm not a Nazi. Please don't lump me in with those people because I'm white. Because Sargon, you're like, if you not noticed by now, but everyone who's white is a Nazi to these people.
But it's funny,
they do not care about your anti-racism.
You're right, though. If you use their left-wing metrics and he tries to do an equalitarian thing on the left wing, oh, you're not for racism, and that's all like the left-wing narrative of racism. Suppose you say, hang on, I was there with the, Sam's in the chat, others. We were there for our little hit round, deep into BLM territory. And I would say a lot of the hatred I saw coming at me and others was from white people. So racism is not the right dichotomy. The dichotomy is, are you pro-white or are you not pro-white? Because there are lots of whites who are not pro-white. And you're saying, I want to smash racism means you're not on the pro-white side. That's the end of it, man. I don't care how fat you are, how tall you are. I don't care what you are. Are you pro-white? He's not pro-white, right? Pro-white ruins his entire career, isn't it? It's the end of him, right? So.
Well, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's...
I don't even think they are against racism. I actually think it's got the aspect of a black supremacy movement. It seems that many people in there are actively arguing specifically for special privileges for black people on the idea that they are in some way inferior to the rest of us, which is something I simply don't agree with. I do not agree for a second that Black Lives Matter are right that we should treat black people in a way that is different to white people. I think they are completely capable.
What? I mean, mate,
that's the reason why we're in this situation. Because we're treating everyone the bloody same. My God.
And, not to sound like a complete conceited little cunt or anything like that, but if I were to have any understanding of basic medicine, your doctor, as soon as you go to the hospital, is conscious of your ethnicity. He is, because he's going to give you different fucking drugs, right? I mean, so, you say, oh, black people can be, we can all be the same. No. But he can't say that, can he? He can't. He's a fucking stuff.
Sargon, what do you think is tearing down these statues? Do you think it's racism, or do you think it's equality? What do you think's tearing them down?
Yeah, is it equality? Is it equalitarianism? They want that black guy. They want it to be all made into one equal muddled mess, isn't it? And he doesn't know what to do, because on one hand, the liberals say, yeah, it is, yeah, they'll all just get on British values and rights. Then can you please explain why I don't see lots of little Chinese ladies and young Vietnamese boys ripping shit up everywhere? Why do I not see middle-class Indian women running around smashing statues? What do I see? Do I see lots of Vietnamese people kicking off? Fucking never, mate. Right? No. Maybe it's because they don't share your values, Sargon.
Of adhering to the standards of behavior we expect from every other race. And I think that the
liberalist dream. We're all the same.
I mean, he says, we expect all the races to become like ours. All of you will all take your copy of Locke, and you all decide to live in some fucking absurd non-aggression principle proprietarian kind of
let's make everyone into Globo Homo. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The Globo Homo crusade is on its way.
But he wants it's a liberal Globo Homo, right? It's a neoliberal Globo Homo where, look, that Vietnamese guy, he's going to just fucking love that Derrida and critique it. No, he's not. What he's going to do is throw his soup on the street after he's finished cleaning his restaurant. That's what he's going to do. And you can look at him and go like, mate, this is not Cambodia. Can you not throw the soup on the street? That's what's going to happen, because that's his express phenotypical thing of being fucking Cambodian, right? I mean,
it's
the fact that we are essentially shirking our diligence in this regard and saying, actually, no, it's fine for everyone else, but not for you guys. You can't manage it. But also, it comes to the
that cut there.
You can't manage it. I've got my liberal superiority. I've got the intellectual toolkit to manage all of this. Yeah, come on, Vietnamese people. Yeah.
Violence, the looting, the burning, the killing of cops. Black Lives Matter as a movement has killed police officers. Proudly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, this is some great revelation. They are a violent neo-Marxist organization being run by the global elite. Of course, they're going to fucking burn it down. Right? What do you think they're going to do?
MO. Yeah. It's a mission statement.
Yeah, I mean, I wish later at the end I'll share some videos with you of watching all the black gangs in London wiring up, ready to go face them off, man. Right? I mean, dude.
Endorsed by Yorkshire Tea, because you know what? I mean, you stand against racism, don't you? That's what's happening here. But let's have a look at what Black Lives Matter have to say about themselves. This is a fundraiser that they've been doing. They were looking for £500,000 for something. Who knows what they're going to use that for? It's not going to be helping the black community, though, is it? It's not going to be setting up schools or I don't know, just financial assistance to impoverished families. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be something else, isn't it? But this is their mission statement. This is how they market themselves. Yorkshire Tea, I want you to pay close attention. This is what you endorse. They say, we are guided by a commitment to dismantle imperialism, capitalism, white supremacy.
Fuck that. I'm going to... What about I respond to that by Anglosphere Imperium, mate? How about that as an objective? Yeah? What do you mean, dismantle imperialism? A bunch of joggers running around throwing down statues are going to dismantle Anglospheric Imperium. Yeah, right, sure. Gonna fucking release the water cannons, mate.
Well, you hope so. I mean, oh no, it's it gone. It's my fucking internet died again, guys. Hello.
You're
Tell
still
me when I'm
alive.
back. I'm still alive? Right, okay.
Patriarchy and the state structures that disproportionately harm black people in Britain and around the world.
What structures?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
he's
what?
right here. He's like what?
Yeah, there are no structures. I mean, can anyone? No one's ever managed to give me the mailing address of the Department of Structured Repression, because if you can just tell me where I can write them a strong letter, I'm going to smash racism. But there's no department, there's no building, there's no office. It doesn't exist.
Maybe there should be.
Maybe the shall go home,
Amazing.
mate.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean,
They want to get rid of capitalism. Are you looking forward to your business being owned by the workers, Yorkshire Tea? You're ready to turn that into a worker co-op, are you? I don't think you are. And imperialism. Let's talk about the history of tea, shall we? Where does it come from? It doesn't come from Yorkshire, does it? Like, and then white supremacy and patriarchy, why not? But dismantling state structures because, in their opinion, they disproportionately harm black people. Well, I guess that's true. If black people commit god-awful amounts more crime than other races, then arresting them for committing those crimes is going to result in those state structures disproportionately harming black people. So you'd have to get rid of the police, you would have to get rid of the courts, you would have to get rid of jails, you would have to get rid of anything that tries to prevent crime. Because I don't know whether you know.
Or you could get rid of.
say it, Sargon. Oh, Sargon.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a crude version of Occam's razor, but why complicate unnecessarily? It's like if this demographic is doing a lot of the jogging and the stabbing, if you get rid of the demographic, like I say, I mean, I don't want to sound racist, God forbid.
Yes, you're very anti-racist.
Yeah, but I don't see a lot of little Filipino people causing a lot of grooming problems anywhere. So I look at the Filipino people, I go, hey, you guys okay? Not many of you, small amount, but I don't cross the street when I see you, right? But anyway, carry on, Sargon.
Noticed. But last year, we had a knife crime epidemic that saw more murders in London than in New York. And that wasn't evenly spread amongst all of the demographics of London. That was a very sharp spike among a very specific age bracket in a certain community, wasn't it? Our commitment to...
Yes.
What is the problem with three simple words? Young black males. I mean, what is your problem here, mate?
Demonetized.
Whoops, sorry. Oops. Alrighty.
That's probably what it is, isn't it? Can't say that. No, can't point out that young black men are stabbing each other to death in the capital city, can we now?
Jog on, mate. Jog on.
All black lives mean we lift up the experiences of the most marginalized in our communities, including but not limited to working class, queer, trans, undocumented, disabled, Muslim, sex workers, women.
Sounds like one night in Bangkok to me, mate. Sounds like one night in Bangkok to me. I don't know what that thing was, but that thing sounds like a one night in Bangkok followed by a local lawyer situation and maybe a good personal physician just to clean it up. So I don't know what you're, but you see, do you know the funny thing is he's still 10 years later, he's still laughing at intersectionality, right? Yeah, that's what he's saying. And you go, look, mate, but what is your solution to the British, just to ordinary English people? What's your solution? Liberalism. I mean, the left and right are going to tear each other to pieces. They're going to shred each other because we don't agree, right? But he can't say anything, can he? Because he can't, he's got to hold on to the we're all equal. I think I had a quick listen. He's going to talk a lot about how we're all equal in values in a minute, right?
Yeah. Get ready for the cringe, boys and girls.
Men/non-binary and HIV plus people.
Sorry, Black Lives Matter. That's a cocktail like that. Imagine if you all of those things. My God. Well, I mean, they probably all are. Really?
That's very interesting, isn't it? Marginalized, undocumented people. You mean illegal immigrants who shouldn't be here? Right? Okay. I mean, whatever. Just don't worry about it. I'm sure Yorkshire Tea, in addition to abolishing the means of production, private ownership of the means of production, is completely in favor of open borders as well. We need.
I don't know. Should we ask them? Laura, can you find out if Yorkshire Tea likes open borders, please? You seem to have a
one
hot
thing I
mic.
noticed that was actually quite skillful of Sargon here, though, and I'll give him credit because he is very experienced, is he hijacked the entire story and he
Yes.
changed the meta-narrative to point in his more liberal defense of Yorkshire Tea and intersectionality. And because he omitted Laura, he's omitted the most powerful narrative. That is the true narrative, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one he's not gone around. And he's kind of, because he's experienced, he's cleverly said, look, I'm going to take this onto the narrative space that I'm comfortable in, i.e. more liberal, more anti-intersectionality. And everything he said sounds very tired and dull. And none of it because the black people don't think like this, the left don't think like this, the right don't think like this, and white people don't think like this. It's only these little chaps in there. And after a while, I mean, it is a quick tedious because he seems quite happy, doesn't he? Seems to think like he's winning or educating everyone, right? He's quite smart.
He's shaming Yorkshire Tea for their hypocrisy.
Yeah. Duh.
He's shaming the multinationals.
Yeah.
Go on, comrade.
Yeah, shame them. Yeah.
Representation of illegal immigrants on TV. Clearly, I mean, is there an illegal immigrant running Yorkshire Tea or not? I need to know. Inquiring minds.
Yes, actually, I think well, there's an immigrant, I think, that owns Yorkshire Tea. It's an Indian company. So,
But the point again is that here's the ironic thing. People don't appreciate like tea. Like, so if you drink tea in India or if you drink tea in China, it's a very different effect culturally, semiotically, the taste, for example. The Indians have rich variants of tea depending what type of clay is used if you're working class. And the English made and culturally took imperially and made its own version of tea. We know the history of the porcelain cracking at temperature, which is why the English put milk in. And so the real message is there's an English girl in God's own country, in actual Yorkshire, right, wanting a cup of tea that in Imperium the English have made their own, and by a company called Yorkshire Tea. That's the story. Right? And they're saying, no, we won't serve you a cup of tea, English white lass from Yorkshire, because you don't support Black Lives Matter. That's the actual story. So Sargon is running some fucking narrative that has nothing to do with the story as I see it, right? Nothing to do with the story.
can you imagine going to one of these quaint English tea houses, sitting down for with your nice China tea set, and the waitress comes up to you and says, would you like a cup of tea? And you say, yes, please. And she says, do you support Black Lives Matter? And you go, what? It's like
Exactly. Yeah, which
Yorkshire Tea. But I love this. Black communities are hit hardest by the coronavirus panic. Black people are dying of up to 4 times the rate of their white counterparts. This is racism. Do you believe the coronavirus is racism? Yorkshire Tea isn't a racist virus. Isn't a virus with an agenda against black people. Is the coronavirus, in fact, the manifestation of anti-blackness? One tea company says yes.
what you failed to point out, Sargon, is that the different behaviors between different groups of people has led to the increase in certain groups getting more cases of this coronavirus.
Yeah. I tell you what, one thing is, if Sargon had been with us, the 4 of us, in the BLM thing, none of this shit would have worked against it. Not today! Not today! Not today! Right? None of this kind of like mad kind of phenotypical expression of the other. None of this shit would have mattered. And he would have bricked it. Right? Because they wouldn't listen. They don't care, Sargon. They don't care. No. You're a diminishing middle ground, right? And our job is to squish it.
1,700 people have died in police custody since 1990. The most violent examples being black men. Well, I'd like some proof of that, considering the last 10 years, only 163 people have died, and only 13 of those have been black. That makes it just over 1 per year who had been killed, which, as the BBC reported, makes white people 25% more likely to die in police custody. Is that racism, Yorkshire Tea? Is that racism? Is that something you care about? Of course.
It's not about. The whole goal is not about.
But here's another
racist or not. It's about dismantling the systems that stop.
Yeah, but you see, here's another disingenuous intellectual trick that the centrists use. They're going to go, look, the left want equality of outcome versus equality of opportunity. We're going to point out under liberal systems, equality of outcome is not going to happen. And therefore, if you cry systemic racism is wrong. But then they run away like cowards into the shadows when you ask them, why is there not equality of outcome? And then they go, oh, no, that sounds like race. Off I go. Right? Because they're not going to face, he's not going to face the fundamental problem, is he? He's not going to face it. So he's going to think he sounds clever, going, oh, look, the lefties say equality of outcome. We must flatten it. Wrong, wrong, wrong. That's racism. No, there's going to be an unequal outcome. Yes, Sargon, why? Are you going to tell me the answer is poverty? Is it, what is it? Are you going to say it's poverty?
Black fatherlessness, I think, is one of the excuses later on.
Yeah, social reasons, yeah.
Biological reason.
Of course it's not. Why would it be that doesn't affect black people? That's actually something that disproportionately affects white people, which is presumably why they have to omit these statistics from their appeal for your money. But anyway, the UK taxpayer was paying the reparations of UK slave owners up until
Well, it's not really about like omitting the white ones. It's not their goal. Their goal is to demonize white people. That's the whole their MO. Like
not demonize, to actually humble them. So if you look at the writing on the left, they want white. The knee is a big symbolism, right?
Yeah.
Any white person who goes down the knee just makes me so mixed between rage,
man, I've
just
never
rage
felt
and
so
just
angry.
general. Yeah, and then I get so much more motivated. I'm going like, so it's going to be less white people that are going to have to pull you up. Not just that you're against pro-white, you're actually kneeling to the enemy. It's just, and that just fuels them on the other side, right? It gives them confidence. It gives them like reasons to go, yeah, we're going to make them all kneel. And I'm like, nah, no kneeling, right? And this is it. But Sargon, would he kneel? That's interesting. Would Sargon kneel under pressure on the square? Not in the comfort of his house in Swindon, wherever he is. Would he actually kneel? I have a feeling he might go down.
You have a feeling. Oh, take your bets now, people.
Will
he kneel?
Will he kneel?
2015. So if it was possible for reparations to be given to slave owners, including Cameron's, then the reparations of black people dealing with generational trauma and institutional racism is wholly possible. Where's your reparations, Yorkshire Tea? I mean, I'm the descendant of slaves, going back distant and on my...
He's done the black grandfather shit again.
Oh my God! Did he just go full Octoronian again? Did he just go full Octo on us?
He did.
Did he just? Are you? Hang on a sec. Hang on. So are you 1/8 the slave descendant? Is it 1/8 the slave?
Where's my reparations, Yorkshire Tea?
1/8 the slave, right? Not 12. 1/8 the slave. How much do you want, Sargon? You want an eighth? Do you want an eighth, fam? Do you want an eighth? Yeah, cuz. Do you need an eighth? Yeah. Oh my God! I can't believe he just did that. Is he? Did he?
How did I miss that when I was watching it earlier? I wasn't paying attention.
1/8 the slave. This guy could be another one. Meme factories, where are you boys?
1/8 the slave.
Hashtag 1/8 the slave. Let's go.
Father's side, where's my reparations? My tax money.
Yeah, no. Oh my God. I need to get that video.
Dude, we all saw Sargon's dad. He looks half Indian and half white admixture. He's got Asian plus Indian admixture. There's no fucking black in him. Why are you trying to oppress black people and get part of their reparations? What the fuck, man? I think I'm going to set BLM on you. I'm going to far right white supremacist Carl Benjamin false claims on 1/8 reparations, claims he's 1/8 a slave.
Well,
I want to
what
see
does
how
that say about Sargon, then?
Black, bro.
Does that say a lot about the way he sees people of color? Does he just see them all as black then?
No, I want to see what the black.
What a white supremacist he is.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to give you an eighth of your share? I mean, they'll give you an eighth. I know they've got an eighth on them usually, yeah, but I'm not sure they're going to give you an eighth of your reparations, mate.
Money went to the ending of the slave trade. I have paid the slave owners to end the slave trade. So
wait, so
what? What?
He's paid off his own reparations.
But this is the fucking idiocy in the logic. Because on one minute you say there's no such thing as the sins of the father, and as a liberal I can't be responsible, no white guilt. Then you say, hang on, but actually it's not true because I did pay you guys off, and therefore I'm totally like, okay, which is it, right? Yeah, you're not getting anything, right? 1/8 the slave. I think we're going to call him 1/8 the slave from now on.
1/8 the slave. Sounds like an Iron Maiden song, doesn't it? 1/8 the slave.
Where are my reparations, Yorkshire Tea?
Power slave.
I want
that's
my
it.
money.
Just play power slave. In the
Hashtag
background.
our aid slave. Let's get on to Sargon's secretary, who's obviously working for slave labor costs, right? Do you pay Sargon, secretary of Sargon, or whatever the fuck that guy's called, mate? Pete says black calls matter. Black calls matter.
Come on, we gotta get that on. We gotta get that trending on Twitter. Black calls matter.
Black call matters.
Gripers, you know what to do.
Money. Don't forget, you owe them something, Yorkshire. You owe them. We're especially calling on big business who've historically profited from the cheap labor and cultural production of poor black communities. I don't think that excludes Indian communities, which you certainly exploited, being a tea manufacturer.
Yeah, they exploited your ancestors, Sargon. Like,
Yeah. And you are actually like, because people, I mean, I get in trouble in Speaker's Corner because I've been on lots of black streams with people like Sam, other people in the chat. And I always use the expression, I forgive the commoditization of my language, but I always ask, who are the best blacks? Yeah. So if you look at the best performing blacks by GDP per capita, you can see that the ones who were taking slaves got the most out of it compared per capita to the others, right? So when you say black, I'm wondering if do you think we need to pay? Anyway, carry on, mate. I'm babbling.
And all, let's be fair, you owe them some cash. Fork up. But obviously, it doesn't stop there. And I'm sure Yorkshire Tea endorse every aspect of tearing down British history. Black Lives Matter have a list of, quote, racist statues that they want pulling down because of the statue of Colston they pulled down in Bristol with the consent of the authorities, because apparently there is absolutely nothing about British culture or Britain itself that our authorities have got any interest in defending. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But again, a list of racist statues. A statue can't be racist. It's a piece of metal. It just stands there, or a piece of stone. It doesn't have an opinion.
Can it have values? Can it have values? Because
can it represent something?
Can it represent something else? Does it have symbols? Was it because it's not living, it's not thinking, right? It's like the British, isn't it? The same thing in the British.
It's an inanimate object. That means it can't be anything.
It can't be anything. It's not thinking. It can't use argumentation with me.
It doesn't have logic.
No.
Person it is of was a racist. That doesn't make the statue itself a racist statue. But never mind. These are a bunch of racist statues. In fact, there's a huge list of them. I mean, look, Sir Francis Drake. Okay, why? Because he stole statues from he stole slaves from the Portuguese and began the slave trade like in Britain, in England. Sorry, before Britain even. Cecil Rhodes.
And these guys were all liberal, right?
Yeah. You see, the funny thing they don't understand is it's so much simpler than this. Just go to another country, Sargon. Any culture and country wants to feel proud of its best moments, which are always moments of domination over someone else. Yes. Winning the World Cup, winning the Ashes, scoring the goal in for England, winning Wimbledon. And all of these people are symbols where English people may not understand their history very well. Look at them go, they resonate. They got my English ancestors built this world. That's what it is, and it's as simple as that. It's symbolism that is spiritual to the people. And lots of people may not have read enough English history, for example, or architecture, but they feel connected to something that is theirs, right? And that's what's sacred about it. And that's what they want to take out. They want to destroy historical imperium. And we're not going to let them, of course, right?
Of course not. But...
No.
I mean, a perfect example of this, if Sargon were to go to Mongolia, right, what do you think he'd see? A giant statue.
Mr. G.Khan.
The guy who raped and pillaged across all of Asia and
around
Europe.
Mate,
do you think they care?
I can do better than that. Yeah, I can do better than that. We should have brought the image with me.
Yes.
3 streets from where I live, by the Blind Beggar in Whitechapel on Helmand High Street, the 2 doors down is one of the Bangladeshi guys who owns a shop. And he has got the gaudiest 10-foot bronze statue of the founding Prime Minister of Bangladesh in an English Victorian house in the fucking front where the garden of the rose should be, the rose bush. It's a horrible, ugly thing. And in London and England, Stephanie, he's planted a literally 8-foot bronze statue of this ugly-looking Bengali guy who is their first fucking prime minister. Yeah, do you think he's doing that because what do you think he's doing when he does that? He wants to say, "My people, my pride," and that's all it is. There's nothing more. There's no intersectionality, and they don't want that. Yeah.
It's like Batman. I mean, yeah, that's what it'll be, won't it? They're going to tear down Churchill and put Batman on a fucking plinth, aren't they? That's it.
No, I want to remove Gandhi and Nelson Mandela from Parliament Square. And why do you have non-native people statues? I find that just wrong. But there should be only English or British people at Parliament Square. No Gandhi, no Nelson Mandela, none of them, man.
Why? Because he was an imperialist. This is the map of the top of the racist statues, and I've zoomed in on Sir Robert Peel, the founder of the modern police force. Do you agree with abolishing that, Yorkshire Tea? Is that where we're going? But look at this list. I'll just refresh. Look at this list. Unreal, isn't it? Look at all the everywhere. Oh no, there's racist statues everywhere. Weirdly, it's like all of them. But we've got the East India estate. Oh, that's because of imperialism. Oh, Frederick John Horniman was a tea magnate, plantation owner, and collector who included in his collection shrunken heads from the Papua New Guinea tribespeople, arch-colonialist, exploiter of empire, and shameful collector of native human artifacts. Tear it down.
I mean, like, he didn't literally shrink the heads, did he? He just collected them. But Sargon fails to see that, that's because these are all white people. Every single statue is a white person.
But it's more than white people. They are signifiers of the greatness of the Imperium, the greatness of the imperialism, the greatness of the dominance.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
and this is the thing. Even without people, like your average person may not know that, he feels that is his. So what's happening is effectively like a war crime, right? People are coming here and they're not English. They're being helped by traitor classes. And they're just ripping down your history. I mean, if you rip down a statue of Winston Churchill, he's still going to be in history. You're just attacking the symbol, isn't it? And what do you...
until they start burning the books, mate. Until they start burning those books.
Don't you agree, Yorkshire Tea? Tear it all down. I mean, what about Kitchener? He's on that list. Is Lord Kitchener, which you could call a xenophile, a man who was utterly prolific with the languages he spoke Arabic fluently, was loved by the Arabic tribes and the Arabs in Egypt, and in fact prevented them from being proselytized to Christianity out of respect for their culture, and had an island in the Nile named after him by the locals because of their love of him. Was he a racist too? Oh, of course he was. Why not? Just tear down his statue. I mean, screw it. Doesn't matter, right? I mean, another one has gone. Another one today, 1 hour ago. Slave trader statue removed from outside London. Well, I'm sure that's all he was. Never mind, eh? But then they came for William Gladstone.
Oh, this bit hurts him. It's Gladstone.
Yes.
This really gets to him, isn't he? He's like, for fuck, not the liberal. Don't take out Mr. Liberal PM himself. Don't take out, not old Willie, not old Billy, because he was like me. I want to be like Billy. That's what I want to do. I want to be a liberal lover, yeah? But no, Billy's going to, mate. Gladstone was a fucking cock.
The liberal began to hate.
When the liberals began to hate. I can't laugh at it.
All right, okay. Tell me when I'm back, because I'm fucking...
Hey, put your phone away, man. Yeah.
I know. Oh, for God's sake, man. Damn packets.
A man who personally opposed the slave trade, but they're coming for him, not because he personally opposed it, obviously, but that doesn't matter. The stain is never going to be washed off because it turns out his father owned slaves. And because his father owned slaves, Gladstone's own opposition to slavery was not strong enough because of this familial connection. So we're deplatforming our ancestors.
Do you know who also owned slaves?
For the sins.
Yeah.
Do you know who also owned slaves? Muhammad. Now, with that simple observation in mind, my question to Sargon is, what are you going to do? Are you going to align with the Muslims? And go, no, because, anyway, but that we'll deal with this later. Sorry, random thoughts.
of their ancestors. Amazing. Is this justice to you, Yorkshire Tea? Have we ended racism now, Yorkshire Tea? Is this something you endorse? Tearing down everything about our country in order.
He's literally doing. At first, they came for the Nazi meme. Like, at first, they came for the Nazis, and I didn't speak up about it.
But he's doing that, but then you can see he's apoplectic about Gladstone, right? Because then they came for the Liberals. How about first they came for the English, and then the Scottish, and then the Irish, and then the Welsh, and then Britain was fucking gone. How about that? Simple as that. They came for the 4 tribes, one after the other, and then there was nothing left, right? How about that? Huh? Simple.
To satisfy people who will never be satisfied, who are never going to turn around and go, you know what, York's Tea, you're our guy. We're happy with you. We love your product. We're going to buy more of it. I don't think these rioters are big fans of yours generally, but don't worry. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, you could say, well, Yorkshire Tea and PG Tips both profit from what is effectively the modern slave trade, as reported by the BBC in 2015. But we won't worry about that. No need. It's nothing to do with us. We'll just talk about those statues of pro-slavery people that don't get torn down and wonder why, Yorkshire Tea, are you not in favor of having the statue of Karl Marx torn down? Now, not only was he a massive racist, I mean, he used the N-word, in reference to people's character quite often.
I just interrupted with that. You know, I had a thought, my man. Yeah, I'm the N-word. I know. Yeah, me too, man.
The fact that he said people's character. You can't even say race.
You can't say it. You can't even attribute the power to the word.
Out. My God.
But my point was, I think we should take a little Groiper division. I think we should keep adding the Karl Marx statue to the map.
Yes.
I wonder what happens if we keep adding it. Will the people who run the site remove it? That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Because good idea.
We should start doing all of them.
All of them, right?
Yes, muddy the waters, like get every statue taken down, right? Yeah. Just and then we'll find out, huh? Right.
So it doesn't matter that he's a massive racist. He was explicitly pro-slavery. He says, there's no need for me to speak of either the good or bad aspects of freedom. As for slavery, there's no need for me to speak of its bad aspects. The only thing requiring explanation is the good side of slavery. And he does mean the slavery of blacks in Suriname, in Brazil, and the southern regions of North America.
There was a famous economics professor at Harvard in the late 80s who got fired for the same thing because he explored anti-Marxian capitalist models of the efficiency of slavery as a factor of production. You might not like the topic, but it's at least worthy of intellectual analysis. What if I take the price of labor and set it to near zero and constant? What does that do to economic models? And Marx wanted to use the same thing upside down. Right, but he didn't care because he was racist. You know, he was a man of his time, right? I don't think he said the N-word as many times as I have, but he probably has. I don't know.
You're like,
without
like
slavery, he
you,
says, North America, the most progressive nation, would be transformed into a patriarchal country. Only wipe North America off the map and you get anarchy, the complete decay of trade and modern civilization. But do away with slavery would be to wipe America off the map. Yet another thing in the long list of things that Karl Marx was demonstrably fucking wrong about. But no one wants to vandalize his statue, do they? No one's talking about tearing him down, are they? Even though he was a racist.
Hang on. Whoa. Okay, so we know 6 of his foundational claims are wrong for Marx. When we analyze them, if you go deep, you know his LTV value is all missing. But on the principle, Sargon, because you always like principles, right? On the principle, Sargon, if you think statues should be ripped down because they're wrong, should I rip down liberal statues?
Oh.
Right, because liberalism hasn't fucking worked out, has it? Right. So, which is it? Same principle? Is it just because you want? You know, if you look at him and you look back, I'm having like deja vu's with Sargon from 10 years ago. You think about it. You know that
he says the same shit every fucking week.
The same shit, but you know it's really not even left and right. As left and right squeezes, you know what he's doing? He's escaping with like the Tommy Todds and the Sipnats. They're flipping axes. They're trying to go. Actually, we're anti-authoritarian. Right, we just want to be. So we're anti-left Marxists because they're authoritarian. We're anti-right us chaps because we're authoritarian for a large part. And that's the only thing left for them. Right? The fence is thin, but now it's actually quite tall in the other dimension, right? Because all he can do is say, look, as long as my freedoms are okay, we should be all right, right? There's nowhere left for them to go, right?
No, I mean, most of his circle are falling to the wayside. They've been red pilled by what's happened in the last 2 weeks.
Or they're going the other way, mate. There's some people going the other way, right? They're getting even more. They're like falling on their knees and shit, right? So there are people feeling left as well as right. And
I mean, the weaker ones have probably fell to their knees like cucks they are. But some of the stronger ones are starting to say, you know what? This racial, I think it is racial, mate. I realise that these people, they're a group interested.
What really makes me angry about this, mate. I haven't done a stream for months, whatever. It's been a while, but what makes me angry about this is like the fact that he has just stolen the narrative away from Laura and PA, and we were never asked, and all that were to try to make it about his thing. And his thing is not very interesting. It's very dull. So anyway.
An anti-Semite, he was pro-slavery, it doesn't matter. And then when someone does vandalize it and say, hey, by the way, he has a doctrine of hate, he caused a Bolshevik Holocaust. Is this not something that we should be not memorializing? We should be tearing down.
A Bolshevik Holocaust.
Yes, and what the hell is that now? That's a bit hysterical, right? The left-wing genocide, right-wing genocide, right? Genocide, right? Yeah.
A Bolshevik Holocaust. Oh, hold on there, Sargon. You mean anti-Semitic? Whoa, cool it with the anti-Semitism there, Sargon.
Hey, he's part of
the Bolsheviks.
He's now funded by shekel money, right? So he's not going anywhere near that. So, yeah.
But he's used Bolsheviks. It's just interesting the way the Bolsheviks only lasted about 20, 30 years in the Soviet Union before the nationalist side took over. It's very interesting. When Stalin died, that was the end of the Bolsheviks.
But see, what he doesn't understand is even the left and the right agree on one thing. We agree that the world is organized around the notion of power. Yes. Right? They have a different view of power than us. These people have organized their world around freedom and rights. So ultimately, he can take shots to the left or the right, but the axes are just wrong, right? He can't accept that it's about power. Those kids, BLM, they want power. They don't want justice. They don't want truth. They don't want equality. They want power. They don't want freedom. Right?
The people behind BLM want power. Oh, they want to, dismantle some power.
But dismantling just means seizing power.
I think the grunts just want, iPhones, but
Oh yeah, they'll be getting them on Saturday. Right?
Down in 20.
Hello. Oh. Do. Right. I hope you're talking.
I'm here. I'm waiting for you to click or something.
Right. Yeah.
2019 this was. Oh no, everyone's suddenly, this is terrible. This time we shouldn't deface statues. We shouldn't deface statues. Even though Karl Marx falls into all of the categories that you, Yorkshire Tea, have supported up until this point. Karl Marx would not be saying Black Lives Matter. Therefore, you are surely against his racism and you surely want his statue torn down.
No, you absolute idiot. No, they're not, because they're not interested in your liberal equalitarian principle. They're an organization in the cathedral. They want power. They want their customer base. They're like, let's go #BLM. They want commercial power. They're not interested in your liberalism. The HR department at Yorkshire Tea is not run by people sitting there with the copies of the non-aggression principle.
I'm beginning to think it's a genetic flaw that liberals literally think that everyone has to be like them. It must be genetic at this point. It must.
I can reference to many doctrine streams and lots of alt-right data as well, mate. It's a phenotype trait, right? It is a phenotype. They are effectively, in reactionary thinking correctly, they show feminine traits. Right? They fire the liberal, they fire the care justice more, which is a mutation. Nothing. I tell you, a weekend with Nordic Nightmare and me in the forest, and we could change that, mate.
Oh, would Sargon come out the other side? A changed man. Oh, God, what is up with my internet today, man? Fucking hell. Are you there, Ralph?
I'm there. I'm waiting for you, like a mobile.
Yes, I know, right, guys. Sorry about this, guys. For some reason, I guess they support Black Lives Matter, and there's the reason why.
That you're absolute cowards, and have, in your cowardice, allowed yourselves to become complete hypocrites by making your company a political statement all of a sudden, even though it seems that you are being essentially strong-armed into it. I mean, it looks like you were afraid of the consequences if you don't virtue signal to Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter is not a peaceful group. But none of this matters, does it, Yorkshire Tea? None of this is going to make a dent because it's obvious that you're doing this out of cowardice. You are afraid of the race lynch mob that is going to come for you and your business.
No. You, Sargon, are afraid to speak to Mark, to speak to Laura, to speak to Morgoth, to speak to anyone capable of explaining to you why you're wrong. You're the coward. You're the one writing. What's your excuse? I've already spoken to Mark. Right? Is that it? I mean, is that your excuse? Is it? Right?
Once 3 years ago, you were wrong then. You were afraid to be wrong again, right?
Yeah, he can't defend the position, so he won't look right, and he thinks taking shots to the left. But the left, like we've said the last 3 to 6 months, mate, they're doubling down. They're doubling down in preparation and phase 5 for 2020 Trump. Mm-hmm. They're coming at everything because they've lost political power, both in the US and in the Western Europe. So they're coming at it, and what's he going to do? Keep saying they're coming. They're not interested in you, Sargon. They look at you as a far-right fascist. Liberals get the bullet too. Any good lefty will tell you that. Liberals get the bullet first, some of them say. But they're going to shoot you on the way, right? You're like a little bourgeoisie to them, right?
You're going to be the drive-by, right?
Yeah, they drive-by cars.
On their way to us.
Yeah. Spineless, man.
Worried about the damage they might do to you if you don't genuflect towards them. Oh, we were not educated. We don't dare speak out, but we totally support Black Lives Matter, even though we say we're not educated on the subject. Why would you support something you're not educated on if you are not doing it by coercion? Because it does seem like you are. But I tell you what, Yorkshire Tea, educate yourself on the fatherlessness crisis in Black communities, which incidentally, Johnny has done a T-shirt about.
Oh my God!
Good Lord.
Jesus Christ!
Jesus, cringe.
Sorry to take the Lord in vain there, but fucking
what is
hell.
it? Are the shekels drying up? What the hell is this? Are you selling merch? Oh my God!
Here, Black fathers are a problem. Here, buy my T-shirt.
Oh my God! And I mean, that's just really cringe. I kind of stopped before this bit. To be honest, I ran away. Oh my God, that's just surely anyone who sees this image itself. In fact, I just grabbed that screen for later. when Black Lives Matter, when Black Lives Matter takes the knee, it's pretty much what you've done there, isn't it? It's just. Don't you find it just like
actually have a T-shirt range that says Black Father? What are you doing?
I have a question for you, Sargon. I have a simple question.
It's half of your demographic, like Black people in America or something.
I have a second question for Sargon after my first one, which he's never going to answer. My second question is, let's say you're right, mate, yeah? And let's say it's like you see that these Black people have done this thing disproportionately, etc., and you say the cure is Black fatherless households. I have a simple question. What makes Black men run away from their family duties? What? Is it one, a lack of common shared values? 2, the systemic department of institutional 3, or 3, they're expressing their natural phenotypical behavior? What do you think is the answer? So pop quiz for you, Sargon. Do you believe Black fatherless is caused by 1, a lack of shared values that you'll solve by education?
And phone a friend and ask Crowton T what he thinks.
Indeed.
I'm sure he'll tell you what it is. How.
And it's funny, like it's almost like I think it was Ryan Alltype had the back. Yeah. I think the last 2 minutes of his Wakanda video, his first Wakanda video, where he says, "No, it looks like when you leave Black people alone to do this, they just become Black and exhibit Black behavior." And what you get is fatherless homes. I mean, I don't know. Hey, what would I know? Eh? I'm just a call center.
Fathers matter. That's a statement I think is categoric, eternal, and will never not be true. Because it really does seem that all of these problems are coming from the crisis of fatherlessness that is.
And this is so. This. See, Sargon. You know what I'd like? I'd like Sargon, Dr. Adam Rutherford, a bunch of these chaps to sit there. Maybe if you need some AK-47s or Glock so they can't leave the room in Minecraft, and to answer these basic kind of questions. The basic question, mate. So how come Black fathers do this? What is your answer? You know exactly what the truth is. You can't just say it, can you? Sad.
the whole reason George Floyd
I like was it Elron?
and the riots. It's black
Elron.
power.
Elron and Nordic together in the chat hit the nail on the head. Here's the joke. What's the quickest way to break up a BLM rally? Send a couple of black kids going, asking everyone, are you my daddy? Are you my daddy? So we just sending 10 black kids into a BLM rally, and they just get paid them some money, whatever. So I just go, I'll give you a 1 more gram of weed for every guy you ask.
Oh my God.
Sorry. I'm back, dude. I've been away. In Minecraft, of course. All Minecrafters.
Yes. This is the theoretical realm of Minecraft, guy.
It's affecting black communities more than anyone else. If you want to help black people in this country or any other country, the first thing you should do
is buy my t-shirt.
Buy my t-shirt, one. Second, buy my signed copy of an annotation on a Locke's early letters from Somerset. 1943. and an anti-woke treatise I'm working on called the Liberalist Wokest Uppist.
Reason 1942, and black people are just different.
But come on, you know what? We know Sargon cares, and you know why he cares? Can't you feel that little sense, mate? Be honest. Can you feel that little sense that he really kind of cares? And that,
yeah, he cares about his heritage.
You know how much he thinks? How much he cares? That's about an eighth. I think he cares about an eighth as much as we do. It's about an eighth. I just take this kind of 1/8. Right? As a computer scientist, 8 is a very special number to us. Of course, it's 2 to the power 3. So 8, 8-bit.
Is start by making sure these young boys who
I'm out here still. We here. Hello.
You're still here.
who are growing up in violent conditions and carrying around knives, joining gangs and stabbing the shit out of each other.
What I want to do is we should cut that piece of the video.
Yes,
we just keep going, stabbing the shit out of each other, stabbing the shit out of each other, stabbing my t-shirt.
If you really care about my fatherhood, stabbing each other.
Stop stabbing each other.
No chance. Where are you? Please do
$7.99. But notice for $7.99 you can get all the different color t-shirts for Black Lives Matter. Yes, a fabulous range of
oh my God
t-shirts. A fabulous range. Hail Wars for that.
I think Black Lives Matter, they would be the lives that I think you should start thinking about trying to help, because by God, no one else is gonna. Anyway. Or option B, or we can say there's a thing called English people in England and they don't want any of this shit. Can we make it all go away? Can we just make it, can all the joggers jog the fuck off out of here? Or can we accelerate the great jog, all right?
The great jog?
The great jog. The great jog off. Or like the long jog off.
The London Jogathon. Is that what we're going to call it?
The last jogger. I think the last jogger is our response to that Riz Ahmed Stasi. The last jogger. Boom. Sorry, mate. I'll stop. Links will be in the description. I'll see you on the next video. I'm really pissed off now.
I don't fucking support the Black Lives Matter movement. At the end of the day, motherfucker, you know how many black people voted for fucking Donald Trump? You don't like what the fuck I say, get off my fucking page. You motherfuckers come all the way to my page, bitch ass niggas, fuck out of here. Wow. I had to bury my son because of black on black crime, 4 fucking years old. I had to bury my man because of black on black crime. I had to bury my brother because of black on black crime. Fuck your Black Lives Matter. Fucking respect the badge. Nigga, the police tell you get on the fucking ground, you lay on the fucking ground. Respect the fucking badge. That's the problem. Ain't no fucking order in this lives fucking matter.
That's just
Right.
blatantly wrong. That's just clearly not true. Call me a far right nutcase, but I start with the exact opposite position. No lives are equal. How about that?
Well, even listening to that, this lady tell like a story, like Sargon's like, well, it's not race. it's because they don't have fathers. Oh God. Oh,
No,
wow.
in the phenotypical, would you like to spend a lot of time with that woman yourself? Can you blame
Might be
them?
riveting.
I mean, I would personally shoot myself. I'd shoot myself in the face. I mean, that'd be much more pleasant.
Yes,
Are we done?
indeed, guys. Yes, thank you, everyone. That's
So,
that's
everyone
a
think
wrap.
about the last jogger,
Yeah.
or the last of the joggers, anything around the final jogger.
Remember
jog off.
remember the 1/8. The 1/8
The 1/8,
matters.
yeah, 8 slave is also quite good. By chance.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Peace out.